So that's minimum. Let me just make sure I did that right. Minimum of $700,000 in revenue.
$700,000 in revenue on a $6,000
and then you still
bet.
got 2/3 of them to continue on and
Yep.
market to forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a holy crap.
Yeah,
What
that's
an
a haul.
ROI.
That's a haul.
$5.46
What is that?
per lead.
Did I hear you right? Hey, hang on, sis. $5.46 a customer?
You didn't get a sandwich
Name,
for $5.
address, phone number, email. Oh my gosh.
From Sarah Systems and Billy Go, this is No BS with Billy Stevens and Landon Brewer, the unfiltered, straight-shooting podcast that dives deep into the heart of home service trades to uncover the truth about running your business. You're entering the No BS zone with Billy and Landon.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching the No BS with Billy and Landon show. We're so happy to have you here today. And of course, we're going to put on a great show again today. How could we not? The way Landon and I work together, it's just, this show's got to be great. That's what we think anyway, right?
If we don't think it's great, nobody else is going to think it's great. So
exactly. So, did we just lose half our listeners? No, just kidding. Just kidding. I can't really see that. Hey Landon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It's a beautiful day out here. There's no demand weather whatsoever outside, so I'm enjoying life.
Awesome. Well, I just got back from the mountains. I get to spend the summers away from my business instead of in it. And so stressed out, wishing that, the fall would get here so I go take a vacation. I actually, many years ago, started leaving town and going to the mountains every summer. As I got older, it's just, I don't want to be here when it's 100 and something degrees in Dallas-Fort Worth. And so I just get the heck out. And so it's been a little break. I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, I'm sure all your team members appreciate you getting out too.
Yeah, they were so glad that I was away. But that was always I always set these little bucket list goals, if you will. And that was one of them, how do I leave my business in the summer? When everyone else is all in and they're working their tails off, and maybe we get try to sneak a little vacation, go to the beach or something. Most contractors, hopefully can get that done, but to literally leave, for at least a month, that's just something that I always had a goal for myself. People always say, Bill, you done really well. And what do you think your secret to success is? And I always say, I'm lazy. I want to work really hard to figure out how to not to work so hard.
One of the most underrated skill sets of, effectively delegating entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
There's a large crop of people that are just, control freak, it's gotta be my way. They're the man, that type of thing. And that kind of lends itself to entrepreneurialism, but I've seen more successful entrepreneurs that aren't the Elon Musk type, that are more the Billy type. It's all right, well, I don't want to do this. I want to find somebody better at it that actually likes this. It's we had this, we were on the call earlier today and had some questions about SOPs and putting SOPs together. And this guy said, well, I work at it. I actually set a specific amount of time and a date, every week, and to start writing and developing the SOPs for the business. And I just never get to it. I get caught up in something else that's more important. I just never get around to it. It's well, clearly it's not something that you enjoy doing. Otherwise you'd be the first thing on your list. Right. So, find somebody that's good at it, likes to do that stuff and hand it off.
That's right, man. We can't do everything. And the day you figure it out that you can't do everything, you're going to start winning.
Yep.
It goes back to the airplane that we talk about, when you're on the ground, everything's in chaos. When you get up in the air, everything slows down. Now you can take care of business. You don't have to put in 10-hour days. And, if you do your business right. And, I always say, my greatest asset is I'm lazy. And I could say, well, I'm good at hiring people that are good at doing what I don't like to do. Could be another way to say it, but I like the lazy version better. because it catches people off guard, right? They're like, you can't be lazy and do what you've done. Well, I say, yeah, I can. That's why I've done what I've done, because
that's why you're able to do it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I don't know. That's just something, again, it's a bucket list thing for me. And so every year we do this, and, you know, I actually shortened it this year because I just, you know, I wanted to get back. We run out of pre-packaged, podcasts, so we need to make some more podcasts, and then of course I've got a wedding and a couple birthdays, so that's what drug us back quicker. But yeah, so I'm back in the heat. I got used to those 60-degree days and 40-degree nights, but I'm back in the heat. So, well, that brings us to what happened this weekend, and one of the things I always try to attend and came back for, wasn't able to attend for very long this year, but we have a festival not far from here. And we are very involved in it. And the reason why we're involved in it and other things like it is because we want to be a local community style business. We want people to know that we're local, because it really and truly, I think Billy Go is a great brand name. I mean, it really sticks out, but we do have to worry about people thinking that we're too sophisticated and maybe we're more like a national company or a franchise or something. You know, you can get kind of too fancy with your name and kind of scare people off, because people really still want the local plumber, local HVAC guy. And so we do a really, you know, in our branding, we do a really good job of making sure people understand that we're a local business. And when you decide that you want to be a local business and give back and really put yourself out there in the community, you're going to see big changes in your business. The business is going to do really well. You're going to grow, and it's going to be a lot cheaper to acquire customers and things like that. And so with that being said, we're going to talk about the results of the last 3 days this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we go to this festival. It's a couple of miles from our office, and the employees volunteer, and they take their own shifts. They love coming out and doing it. And they come out, and sometimes they bring their families, and so the entire family works the booth. You know, the kids get involved and everything. And so we just talk to a lot of customers, and we have ways of getting customers to talk about plumbing and HVAC. I mean,
so tell me about this festival. Like what's the origin of this festival? It's just like a local town thing to celebrate the founding of the town, or
it's called Great Fest. Okay. It's in Grapevine, Texas. And there's some wineries here, and they have, I've seen in the past, I think around 200,000 people come over those 3 days total. Around 200,000, I believe, is the number.
That's just like a neighborhood in Texas, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, it's a big gathering. Yeah, and I think there's like 3 live bands, stages, where they have these bands playing different kinds of music. But it's a wine festival, and then there's a bunch of booths there with you can buy anything from a T-shirt to some, I thought I saw a wasp nest. What the heck? Well, why would somebody buy a wasp nest? I mean, the thing was $10. I should have taken a picture of it. We would put it up here.
It was a what? It's
literally a wasp nest. It was probably, I don't know, about the size of a plate. It was a big one. I'm not going to lie. It was huge. And they were selling it.
Who was selling it? That's the question.
This person in a booth, and they had weird stuff like that. Like, they would make stuff out of trash, I guess, out of different things. Too bad we don't have Pop Tops anymore. Remember those? We could make chains and stuff. But that was kind of what was in that booth. And I'm like, I looked at my wife and I was like, a wasp nest for $10? So I don't know if they sold it or not. But anyway, that's what the booth is. And then, of course, there's lots of alcohol, of course. And there's, like I said, the live bands, and there's food, all kinds of food. And so it's just a great time. And it's become bigger and bigger every day. And it's all on one street. It's on Main Street in Grapevine, and they close it down from one end to the other. So it's a pretty good size. But we get the same spot.
How many vendors would you say can I participate in this?
How many what? I'm sorry?
Vendors would you say participate in it?
The vendors. So, let me tell you about that. If you make your vendor your partner instead of someone you always beating down on price and paying late, it's amazing what they'll do for you. And we don't take trips. We tell them up front, don't ever waste your time sending us to a trip or, ball games or whatever. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is you take it, instead of taking that money and spending it on that stuff, we would like for you to help us in the community. And so they, every year, I think, don't quote me on this, I need to verify. I don't know what happened this year. I do know what's happened in previous years, but I'm assuming it's the same. We would get a tankless water heater donated, and we got a split system donated this year.
Yeah, a mini split.
A mini split donated this year
and
from our vendor.
Water filtration.
Oh, and a water filtration. So we did get all this stuff donated from our partners. And
it's sitting at producer Tim's house apparently because he's got a tally.
Yeah. 10-1 every contest.
I don't know how that happened.
He's always wanting to be the judge.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we get our vendors to get involved with us. And so that's how, I want to use my vendors. I want to allow them to make some money. I want to pay them on time. And then when I want to do something special, we'll co-brand and partner in some kind of a giveaway. And so with the giveaway is the grant, what gets people excited. But what happens also is we give away plungers. And you wouldn't think that plungers are that important to people, but they go crazy about them. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, whatever reason, when the females get a plunger, the first thing they do for whatever reason is they smell it. They literally do that. They do it nonchalantly, but they literally do it almost every time. And so I kept noticing that a few years back, and it still happens. And the men don't do it, but it seems like the females do it almost, I would say 8, if not 9 times out of 10.
You need to have some fun with that. Get some spray.
Well, we have a lot of fun with it. We're like, because what we say is, hey, don't worry, it's only been used once.
Well, see, I was joking about holding it out and saying, hey, come smell this plunger, but I didn't know they actually did that. We were talking about putting a smell in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why, but they'll take it and they'll hold it and they'll smell the daggum thing before they, carry it, put it down. I don't know. Anyway.
It must be trust issues. He must not look like a trustworthy individual giving out a plunger.
She smelled to make sure that's what it really is or what? I don't know. I think it's the rubber, the rubber part of it does probably have a little smell, and maybe they just smell that and they decide they want to make sure that's what they're smelling. I don't know. But anyway.
What's interesting? I don't know if you probably don't use it in, all your brand advertising or anything like that, but it kind of brings up a good point. You're familiar with Gettle, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
And part of our brand advertising was, the main character, Model After Ken. It's like I held the flashlight for my dad when he, put the air conditioner together, and now I'm the air conditioning guy. And so, the flashlight became a symbol of the brand. And so part of the brand promise was like we would give out, I think we gave out 1 million flashlights in just a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And every day the techs would come in, we'd give them a box of flashlights and say, hand these out to all your customers. People would stop them at gas stations and ask them for a flashlight that have heard the commercials.
Awesome.
I mean, it became a symbol.
Yep.
So having eventually we had them, made in China for cheap. They probably got them cost down to like $1.50 or something, but still a lot of flashlights to give out. But the symbolism, I mean, that and it just kind of helped perpetuate the brand. I would give them out at Halloween, to kids, or give them out at schools. And this is really part of that's a large brand now, but it's really part of a grassroots campaign of taking a brand that, you might just be starting out and having some sort of symbol, some sort of theme that you can, hand out that's tangible. I think is super huge. I think a big part of maybe what we're talking about today is just like these grassroots efforts of what you can do when you're starting out to really, start elevating your business. Because a lot of people that I'm sure are watching this are like, hey, I've been in business for a year, 2 years, just starting out, whatever. and they're like, how do I get more calls? How do I get more customers? How do I get my name out there? How do I compete against the big guys in Dallas? I actually had another guy on a call today talking about the same issue. So tell me about the success of how many of these things did you give out?
Well, I'm assuming I do have numbers here. And so, this is why we decided to do this show today, because the branding of a business is super important. And it goes back to that laziness thing, right? It's just, I'm too lazy to pay Google. So I try to figure out other ways to do it. But I want to appear local. I want to be a part of the community. I've done the Chamber of Commerce thing, and I'm sorry, that's a snooze fest. I didn't ever really see any benefit of doing something like that. So what I do see benefit is you can go take pizza to a fire department in your local town and get more out of that than you'll ever get out of a million meetings at a Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. It's just things like that that really make a difference. And so when we built Berkey's, my first company, we started grassroots. We started doing things that other people weren't willing to do when it came to branding our company. And same way with Billy Go, exactly the exact same thing. 3 months after we opened up Billy Go, we had Great Fest in 2018, just a few months after we opened. And of course, we bought a booth and we went and got some plungers and we went and told everybody who we were. And I believe we got around 800 customers that year, the very first time. And so check these numbers out. So from Friday to Sunday of this past weekend, we had 1,337 contest entries. 1,337.
Wow.
And what's the contest? Well, we had a mini split donated. We had a tankless water heater donated and a water filtration system donated by our suppliers. And then we donate all the labor that it takes to put it in. And so we have a contest. To enter the contest, you must scan the QR code on the sign there, which takes you to the customer portal, Billy Go's customer portal inside Sarah. And so Sarah, the software, and then Billy Go, the plumbing HVAC company. And so these customers go in and we introduce them to a portal, something they don't have anywhere else that they don't know about. And this is how they can book online. This is how they can, they can pay from there, sign quotes from there. We have lots of customers that live in California that own houses here, that have rental properties. They can handle their whole business online. But the best part of all that is it's all hosted on your website. That part of Sarah actually, through whatever kind of magic our engineers do, lives on your website, and you get time per credit spent. Google sees this traffic. So we sent 1,337 people, to our knowledge. People may have looked us up and never came to the booth, because we make sure our booth, because we're a big spot, we're there every year and we ask for the same spot, is directly in front of where you sit under shade trees and stuff and have drinks and tables. And so a lot of people gather right there, and that's where the fun's happening, to take a break from walking the festival. And so we always kept, see people taking photos or whatever. And so when they're seeing our brand for, hours at a time, it sticks in their brain as well. So
let me make sure I didn't miss that. So you're taken through a customer portal. I assume there's an easy way for them to get there, and they're not just going onto one of your laptops that you have there, right?
No, they do it on their phone.
Okay.
Yeah, so on their phone. So we can capture.
They log on, or how do they have
No, they just scan a QR code, and I'll have Tim just throw up one of those QR codes. So anybody watching this, you could just
pictures up if you can.
We'll put the exact same. We'll put the exact same QR code up on the screen when we talk about this. And then that way, if you want to scan it and see how it works, so it could help your business, that's what you can do. So
it goes right into the CRM, and then
goes right to billygo.com.
Now, literally, it's not like you're having to take a whole bunch of information back and enter it into a CRM or your lead database. It's like it's automatically being put in your CRM just by hitting the QR code.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
that's
it automatically takes them to our website that is Sarah is managing that part of it, and Sarah gathers the data. All the data in the portal is Sarah. So if you put your name in, that's Sarah capturing that information.
Wow.
But we're on billygo.com while this is happening. And so we're showing this to Google, and over 72 hours, Google's seeing that we've got 1,300 people that have entered our website and filled out this form, on their customer portal. And so what happens on Monday is we built more trust with Google. We've got more traffic than any other plumbing HVAC company in the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area over this weekend. And so all of a sudden we're popping up staying on page one, obviously. And we're, cranking out the LSAs. Our week is booked. We're in the middle of September. We're booking at a high capacity. So it's just these things that we do that work. I mean, just these little things. And I'm not saying if you don't have a festival in your area that you can't do this. You can do this numerous ways.
What's the exciting part? So, I mean, everybody does home shows and festivals. They know what they are. And because I always struggle with this too. Now, I'm not, one of the more gregarious people that will be out there and, being a politician and getting everybody to come into your booth and doing them. Like, that's just not me.
Me either. Yeah.
And then there's some people like that. But like, what's the secret to, generating the excitement? Is it just the giveaways, or like, is it just giving out the plungers?
That's not what gets them in at all. It's two things that we've experimented with over the years. Number one is we have I don't think we did it this year because we wanted to try something different, but we typically have a table set up at our booth where we have a coloring book, but it's just one page. When you're kids and you have the drawing and then you color. Well, it's a Billy Go truck, but it's not branded or anything. And we have a contest, for them to design a Billy Go truck. These kids do. And so they color and they put Billy Go on it, and they get their parents to, hang out because they want to do this. They want to do it. So that was one way is how we attract them.
Of course, then the candy too.
Oh,
the dum-dums.
And the dum-dums, right. The dum-dum pops.
Love them.
The kids want the candy. But the other thing that we do is plungers. We brought up plungers before just a second ago. And plungers are the craziest thing that people gravitate to. I didn't see that coming. We stumbled onto that by pure accident. I remember the first year we did the show, or bought a booth there, and we bought 100 plungers or something, and we ran out the first night. And we're like, whoa, what? What? We thought we'd bring 99 back. Because I was going to take one from my house.
I mean, it's like, who can't use an extra plunger? Who can't use an extra flashlight? Who can't use extra batteries? It's like there are certain tangible things that everybody's like, man, I want more of that.
Yeah. And we heard a lot when I was there. You hear a lot, well, oh, no, I got a plunger last year. We're good. We love Billy Go. Right? And so that's what you have to do. You have to get people excited about your brand. And you have to do it in ways other than the traditional things that we do. And so it's all about building a brand. This is what this show is about, building a brand. So let's get back to the numbers, because these numbers are mind-boggling. And those of y'all that have been hanging on through all this little chitter-chatter, I appreciate it. But now we're going to put some numbers up here. All right. So again, we had 1,337 contest entries. So that's 1,337 people went into our software, Sarah. Okay. Now, Sarah, you can set your service area. So this is a festival that the entire Metroplex can come to, but we don't service the entire Metroplex. Remember, I'm all about owning your backyard. And so we have a set area that we'll go. It's about a 15-mile radius from here, from where we are. So the people that were not in our service area, we will brand them differently. They will go into, okay, this is not a do not serve, so they're not part of this list. So these are No, they are. The 1,337 is the total number. Of those 1,337, 1,115 were in our service area. So that means 222 of them were not in our service area. And so I'm assuming that we will give those 227 to any Sarah customers that are in DFW. We'll give them those. We'll hand those out to our customers, our partners that are on our software here in the local area, so that they can reach out to them and take care of them and talk to them like they were at the festival too, right? That's all they need to do. All right. So of those 1,115 in our service area, 17 were current customers. So that's great. So a lot of customers or people that got plungers in the past, gave us a thumbs up. Y'all doing a great job. I already have one. And they just keep walking there. And maybe they stop for a second, say hi, and then they're gone. So 222 of them, 222 of them were out of our service area. So we'll give those away. 17 were current customers. And of those 17, 5 of them were current members, which is very important. So that left us a total of 1,098 prospects that we got their emails, phone numbers, name, address.
That's a remarkable amount.
It's a crazy amount.
For a festival home show, that just is a very insane amount.
It's big numbers. It's crazy. And so let's do the math real quick. What would you say? What would you say would be a medium average acquisition cost using Google? What number would you like to use?
At least a couple $100. I mean, if it's organic, less. But I mean, it's not. We're not talking necessarily ran leads yet, but easy couple $100.
Couple $100, get them to click on your ad, right?
Yep.
I mean, so a couple $100 for a click. Well, I've got my trusty calculator here. So if there's approximately 200 to acquire a customer, $200, and I acquired 1,098 that weren't previous customers, I would spend $219,000 to acquire these customers. Over how long of a period of time? I have no idea. Or not even the same customers, just random 1,098 people, new customers, right? Would have cost me, if I'd have gone traditional Google, social media, whatever, $220,000 to acquire these customers. So let's get into numbers of what I spent.
Plus to boost your relevance of just having them on the website. That's even more double whammy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I call these legit leads because I've got all the info, right? Usually when you get a click, you don't get anything.
It's already in your CRM.
Yeah.
So how much, well, here's the tricky question. Like, how much did you pay for this massive festival? What was the entry fee, and how much did you spend on plungers?
No, I'm kidding.
$98,000. I saved $4,000.
Yeah. $3,500.
$3,500.
Yep. And I'd imagine that we spent about $1,500 on plungers, and then maybe $1,000 on, like tickets to get this, ancillary stuff.
So $6,000.
Yep. And then our employees come out and participate, and in some cases they bring their families. And then the whole family is there working the system for us. And then, of course, they get name recognition. And so whenever a customer needs us, they ask for that guy. At least the guy hopes so, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. And the guy hands out his personal, business card with a QR code that is his QR code, so we can track him and see how it's working, on their level. And so let's go and look at the math. So what do we call it? $6,000.
The math while you were talking.
$6,000 is what we spent, give or take.
Yeah, $6,000 for 1,098 viable leads.
How much is that per lead?
$5.46.
What is that
per lead?
Did I hear you right? Hey, hang on, is this working? $5.46 a customer.
You didn't get a sample.
Name, address, phone number, email. Oh my gosh. Guys and girls listening, this is insane. This is insane. I mean, how long does it take a company? Let's say a company is 10 million in size. No, let's do 5 million. Let's do smaller. 5 million in size. How many calls do you think they do a week? Maybe 100, 20 a day, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And then how many of those are new customers? See, now the number gets really small.
So that's, yeah.
You see how long this could really take if you're doing it the old-fashioned way. If you're just doing traditional marketing, you need to do traditional marketing, but you need to do other things. And there's so many different things you can do. I mean, taking a pizza to your local fire and police department, or actually the city that you do work in, is insane. How well that works, because all of these people that work in these fire departments, that work in these police departments, and work in these city government jobs, they have their own private social media where they share vendors and, all the stuff that they share. Yep. And it's like, somebody's going to go on there and go, my AC's broke. Well, who do you think's going to get the call? Is it the guy that's giving back to his community, or a rando, right? And so we're trying to increase the odds. And so a couple of pizzas here and there go a long ways. So that's another way to do it. But back to this.
I mean, so let me stop you for a second. Let's just play it out. Let's take it from a slightly different angle. You got and let's round it to 1,100 instead of 1098. So 1,100. What percentage of those do you think that you might actually, you're going to call them, email them, whatever, you might actually book a call and run a call for? What percentage of those?
That's a great question. I definitely have the true stats for you, and not very long, because
I'm just curious. So what do you think? 70%, 80%?
I would say if they're in our customer base, and so we'll keep these in their own bucket of how we market to them, because the subject line is going to be Great Fest contest winners, stuff like that, to get them to open it. So the open rate's going to be very high, like extremely high. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not 60%, 40% at worst is going to open the emails, because we're going to, we told them we're going to draw for these prizes. So we're going to get them to open them up, but we're going to hit them a lot of times on the email, never really selling. We'll use the festival as subject line matter or whatever. And then we'll start getting them used to us. I would, and I wish I had gotten this number from my marketing department before we had it, but I'm going to assume that 30% of them become customers. How's that sound? Does that sound okay?
Let's call it a third of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
20%. I don't care.
What's your app? I don't know. We'll take a conservative number, but when you run a call on average, what do you bring back? At least $2,000, $3,000?
Yeah, I think our average ticket is $1,600 to $1,800.
Okay, so let's just say, let's wind it down. Let's call it
Just call it 300 at 1,500. What's that?
So that's minimum. Let me just make sure I did that right. Minimum of $700,000 in revenue.
$700,000 in revenue on a $6,000 bet. You still got
2/3 of them to continue on and market to forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a holy crap.
Yeah, that's a haul. That's a haul for 3 days. This is just crazy, and we've been doing this year over year, and so I always think that it's gonna die off, but yet we're consistent. Tim,
there were more people there this year. It was crazy.
Yeah. And so, I mean, what did we do last year? About the same, more or less? What do you remember?
I think we did a little less last
year. A little less? Okay. Yeah. So it was a good haul this year.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're talking, if we round way up, you're talking maybe a 1% marketing cost.
Yeah. If you're rounding up, probably.
Yeah. 1%. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you, man, this is all about the hustle. It's all about having the brand, having the strategy, and then going out and executing the footwork, like canvassing when you're just starting out is just a natural thing, right? You have to knock on doors. If the phone ain't ringing, you got to go figure out, like, you should be spending 100% of your time. If you don't have enough calls, if you're not, on a call, working, selling, doing something like that, it's your duty when you start to spend 100% of your time going out and finding the next customer.
Yeah.
So naturally what people do, right? They do what you just said, go to the Chamber of Commerce, go to the BNI groups, go to all this networking stuff, and which is great. But if you can go directly to the customer, if you can find a way to infiltrate your customer's mind, or even, if you're, like today's case, the guy was an electrician. I'm like, well, maybe you call Billy and say, hey, let's co-brand a thing, because maybe Billy doesn't do electrical and you don't do any of the other trades. Like, go talk to the pest control company, the landscape companies, like work out a deal there. I mean, these companies that do the restoration have made an entire business model of just going to plumbing and HVAC companies and getting in front of their techs and bribing them with money so they can go out and make millions of dollars doing restoration.
That's right. I mean, it's just,
why don't we learn from that?
That's right. So, so it comes back to, you shouldn't be slow.
No,
you should never be slow.
If you're too slow, you're not putting in enough effort.
That's right.
And that's the harsh truth that nobody wants to realize. Or you may not be creative enough to do it, but there are ways to go out and get business. I saw, this is a slight tangent, but I saw a great one the other day. I can't remember who it was, but the guy was going out and he partnered with a local food pantry, and he's collecting canned goods for the food pantry. And anybody that donates canned goods or donates a certain amount of canned goods, they get a free tune-up on the spot if they want. Right? So, I mean, what better way to get, ingratiate yourself to the community, put out a great brand message by going out, helping, doing a canned good drive and sitting in front of a customer that needs your services. I mean, it's just, how much effort are you willing to put in? That's the key.
Exactly. It's nuts. What this will do. I mean, think about it. I'm hoping that we get $700,000. I mean, how many people gone to this festival and walked by our booth 3, 4, 5 times, and maybe they walked by it last year too, and we haven't talked to them, but they're customers now or gonna be. I mean, we don't have numbers for that, but these numbers that we do have, are pretty daggum impressive.
That's one thing that you're, I would say that as I've gotten to know you, you haven't really vocalized it this way, but one of the things that you really value, I could tell, and it's in the culture of Billy Go and everything you do, is planting seeds. Everybody's chasing that immediate buck. Everybody's like, oh, I need more calls. I need this, right? I got to break my records, and that's all great, but the level of patience that you exhibit when you're planting seeds and tending this show and building it this way, doing it slowly. I mean, you're growing at a significant clip on top of it, but the seeds that you're planting are going to bear fruit for years.
Yes. I can't wait for someone to come to us. We have to be proactive and tell people about us so they will come to us in bigger numbers. I can't do what everyone else is doing and expect to grow or stand out. You just can't do it. You have to do what others are not willing to do. So it goes in line with this sign behind me. And this is why it's one of my favorite quotes, is the magic you're looking for is in the work you're not willing to do.
Yeah.
And that's why it's hanging on the wall, because that is what it comes down to. Or what are you willing to do to build your brand, to build your legacy, to build your empire, to build whatever? What are you willing to do? Right? It's with all my businesses. We're willing to get on the level of our customers to get customers. We don't want to ever fly above them, right? We don't ever want to be just out there and hope that they find us. We make it easy to be found, and that's why it works. And what else are you doing? You're pulling your hair out at the office every day? whatever you're doing. Let's refocus back to the business. But the best part is build a culture to where everyone in the business is doing it, not just you. I mean, think about it for a second. How many of your employees give a care about the company when they're on their free time, when they're away, when they're off work, when they're on the weekends? Are they even thinking about the company, or they're just glad they're not at work? And if you run the business correctly and build the right culture, just like these folks come out and they took away their weekend to come out and do this, to plant seeds for the company that they work for. That's culture. That is building the right culture, because I don't have to bribe and connive and whatever to get folks to have passion about where they work. We create a place that creates passion. And that is all we really do differently.
They're showing up with their families. It's like, I'm going to show up, and they realize also they're kind of representing the company and the brand, and you're like, you got to stay in brand. When that's the other thing that most people don't get. Most people are like, I get this question all the time. Oh, who's the best digital marketing company? Who's what should I use for training? What's it like? Okay, well, you have to start everything with a plan and like an overall blueprint, but your brand has to be at the heart of everything. Your service experience and what the customer sees has to be at the heart of everything. How your trucks look, how how your technicians look, how they answer the phone. Like the brand has to be embodied in everything that you do. And so I'm assuming that your guys didn't just show up in dirty jeans and
we'll
check out this plunger.
We'll put some photos up to look at, and you'll see they're all in uniform. They wore their dadgum uniforms up there. They have a Billy Go shirt on. They may not be in the work pants. They may be in some shorts or some jeans or something, but they're wearing the shirt, and most of them, or half of them, wearing a cap as well. And they have their business cards on them, and they're out there having a great time, and it just makes them feel like they have ownership in the company too, because they are, at the end of the day, they're the company. Nobody sees me, right? Nobody's like, Billy's coming to fix my stuff. That's the last thing they would want.
Yep. I don't know if you do this, but I was just reminded of it. So, we acquired a plumbing business. It was a big, plumbing business, relatively speaking, and, been around for 30, 40 years. And I'm going through the lead sources and looking to see where they generate their leads, and they do some radio and all this, but they generated over $1 million in that previous year on business cards. And so I looked at that. I'm like, crap, this is somebody that's like recording the lead source wrong. There's no way business cards generate $1 million. And so, I went and asked the GM the questions, like, well, it absolutely is the case, right? We give everybody a friends and family referral card. Every employee has a unique number that's associated with the card. And so they get, we attribute it to them. They get a bonus, and they get to go visit that customer, and their sales are always higher. It's their favorite lead source of customers. So they're giving these things out left and right to everybody, and they're making a ton of money doing it. And we generated $1 million. Yeah. It's like pretty simple, basic concept.
Yeah. Yeah. We just put in a few hours this weekend and generated potentially $700K. Yeah. It's crazy.
You just got to get creative sometimes. And that's why I like doing this podcast. Like, I like what you're doing here. You're showing everybody exactly what you did. So
we're gonna go to the festival next year, and there's gonna be 47. There's gonna be 47 plumbing and HVAC companies on Main Street next year.
Create all your competition.
I didn't get into this to compete. I got in this to show everybody how I could help them and how to do it. Right. I'm sharing everything I'm doing. I'm as transparent as you can get. I get calls every day from guys. I went to lunch with a guy here locally yesterday, wanted to go meet me for lunch. And we talked, and he wanted to know what he could do. And we talked, and I told him everything he needed to hear. And then, send him what he needed to execute. They're not even on Sarah. It's not the point. Again, I'm branding, right? When the time comes, he might be on Sarah, but now he's definitely aware of it and what it can do when it comes to marketing and all the other things. But the point is we're planting seeds. Both businesses, planting those seeds.
Like everything that we're saying today, it's like this weird circle. Like we started off with grassroots, and now we went to planting seeds.
Yeah,
you're like a farmer.
Yeah, and then now, not too far from now, we'll have a money tree.
There you go.
That's next, right?
Shake it, baby.
Yeah, shake that money maker. Oh man, that's something different.
Hey, this is great. I mean, I love the fact that you're giving and showing tangible things that you can do. Specific examples of what you could. Because, again, not to get off some guru tangent, but you go on social media and you hear some gurus, let's do this, or go advertise on the radio, or go out and buy billboards. Like, there is so much more behind.
I don't do any of those things.
Yeah,
I do absolutely none of that.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in front of a customer talking about a plunger than being on a billboard that nobody, you know what I mean? Obviously there's a point for those things, but I have one billboard in the entire Metroplex. And the reason why I got the billboard, because during COVID, they gave it to me for like 25 cents on the dollar, and I made them sign a 6-year agreement at that price.
But it's also part of your larger customer acquisition strategy.
Yeah, you're not
just like, I need leads, or I'm listening to a guru. It's like, I have a strategic way I'm going to go about acquiring customers, and we're going to do it cost effectively. It's going to be in the backyard. Here's going to be the area. Here's what the customer avatar is. And we're going to go out and do it that way. Not just, who's the next digital marketing company? Who's better at LSA? How can I, you don't want to be, you're just a sea of everybody else when you do that stuff.
That's right.
And that's not where you want to be.
No, it's not where you want to be. Yeah. I mean, you got to be there, but that's not where you need to stop being. You need to continue on and do the little things and bring the passion into your business by telling people about it. Because the more you talk about your business, the more you're going to keep falling in love with it, instead of it being like, the thing that just drains you, right? Talking about your business gives you the confidence to make it a better business, to stay on top of it. It's just a natural reflex. I'm talking about my business. I'm doing good things. We are different, blah, blah, blah. And then you start believing it. And when you start believing it, you can execute and make things happen because you believe it. But when you're at the office and you're micromanaging and your business is stuck, you need to get outside and go do something to build a business that's not keeping you stuck behind a desk, so you can overhear what people are saying to make sure they're doing their job. And you got cameras everywhere watching every move they make. That's not what business is about. I don't have a camera. We have cameras on the outside of the building for, in case we ever got broken into, but there's not a single camera inside. Oh, wait a second. There's like 5 of them looking at me right now. There are some cameras inside. They're all in this room though.
Yeah. I've been in some businesses that had cameras inside. Quite a few of them, actually. One of them specifically, it was so weird, because one of the guys had like copy of the camera at his house, so he could like zoom in, and you could zoom in to like, you could see what, how much change was on some of these desks. And I'm like, oh man, hopefully it's just kind of invasive.
No, that's terrible. I wouldn't work there for a while. But I have even more detail here. So there was 29 towns in our service area. Now that sounds like a lot. But where I live, I'm in Grapevine. I've got South Lake, Flower Mound, Irving, Capel, HEB. All these towns are 5 miles away or less.
Yeah.
It's just the way they do it. They're not real big. Like when you go out to California and you're in Irvine, it's 600,000 people.
It's a small state. Yeah.
Right. And then it's not so ours are like 50,000 or 40,000 or even 25,000 in some cases, even though I'm right in the middle of the Metroplex of Dallas-Fort Worth. So 29 cities. Obviously, the number one city was Grapevine. So we got 161 new customers from right here within 3 miles of our building. 161 new customers, 3 miles from our building. Arlington, North Arlington is probably 10, 15 max minutes away. You got an additional 39. North Richland Hills, 39. Flower Mound, where I live, which is on their other side of the lake, 10 minutes from here, 38. South Lake, on the south side of the lake that I live on, 34. Roanoke, just to the west of South Lake, 31 more. So these are really good numbers. And so that's just more detail. We know exactly where they are, how many we got. And so the number 29 of these cities is Richland Hills, and the minimum number for them was 10. So we got at least 10 from Richland Hills. So the level of detail that I could just print this, all this data is just right there, you know. I had this data Monday morning in my email.
That's
It was there.
Yeah.
And what a great way to start your Monday, right?
I mean, every 1,000 leads that you get over the weekend helps, right?
Yeah. If you put it like that, I guess you're right. Yeah. I mean, you know, every 1,000. I mean, but we would have spent, what was it, 220,000 to try to acquire that many?
I mean, you just acquired a database essentially.
Yeah.
Small,
I just bought a small
band
company, right?
database. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's what, 3 or 4 calls a day? If you average it out, you know, on a 250 day year, you know, not counting the weekends, but well, if you did it like that, yeah, it's 2 a day, just a little over 2 a day. Yeah. Of additional.
We got to, you know,
potentially.
We got to figure out maybe 6 months from now, or we got to circle back to this. And
I'm going to keep up with this.
See how
We're
much
going
revenue.
Let's do that. I bet what we'll try to do. Yeah. Let's just, Tama, put a note on there, and let's look at this 3 months from now and see where we are. And then if we want to talk about it in 3 months, we can do that, or we could take it into, you know, maybe we take it into next summer, or maybe we just do it first of the year and then do another one in the summer and just see what's happened with these 1,098 new leads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be able to give you everything. Here's what I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to be able to tell you what we sold them, how much they bought on the average and median. I'll be able to tell you anything you want to know. I think I'll have some good data on these 1,100 customers. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And I'll also look on a weekly basis what it looks like to see what happens. How many did we go? How many book calls today or this week? I don't know. I can look and find out.
I love it.
That's pretty cool.
I love it.
So anyway, everybody, as you can tell, I'm super pumped on this. This is just something that I was waiting for this festival to show up so we could talk about it this week. This is just cool stuff.
Here's a couple of takeaways for me. One is that lead generation, marketing, branding, it's a group effort. It's not, one person's responsibility. Hey, it's the marketing person's responsibility, or SEO guy, call the digital marketing. It is in everything you do. It's got to be part of your culture, and it's a group effort, right? Yep. That's probably the first takeaway. And related to that is that this idea of partnerships. I think people undervalue partnerships. So some of the grassroots ideas that we were talking about, partnerships with your vendors that you spoke of, that provided some of the materials, partnerships with
Ferguson,
local
American Standard.
There you go. Yeah. See, free advertising, right?
There you go. Start doing business with those guys.
I can't imagine how excited Ferguson and who else?
American Standard. Donated the split system, I believe.
Yeah, I can't imagine the two of us uttering their names in our podcast, that's got to be worth 50 million for them. So good for you guys.
Hopefully we can get a check. Yeah, that'd be nice. I can afford to pay Tim.
Yeah.
But that's a huge one. Most people don't look at the partnerships, the local charities, the fellow contractors, all the other organizations, your vendors, the home shows, like these things have to, this is a group effort. You're building a business is a group effort, and including partners. And
Yes.
it is not some thing that you put all on your own shoulders.
That's right. That's how you do it. You can't do everything. So let's get other folks to help. And besides that, if they donate the equipment, they probably brought it out there for us. I don't know. Maybe it saved us some time. But you know what, guys? I do this in every business I run. I don't know if everybody knows that's listening to this. We've got a whole bunch of new subscribers. Thank you very much. Press like, please subscribe. Also, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What else? iHeartRadio.
Yep.
Their .com thing. And so thank you for the listening and the subscriptions and the likes. We appreciate that. Like I said, both of us are tirelessly giving back to this industry. You're not getting emails to come to events and spend all your money. And, we're just giving.
It's been a great forum for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to post as much on Facebook.
Yeah,
so.
Me either. I mean, I do a Happy Saturday post, but, I haven't been doing them every Saturday because, I like doing this show. And maybe my Happy Saturdays just becomes a transcript of, some stuff we talked about, and it just makes it easier for me because I don't pre-script it. I don't send people pre-scripted emails trying to talk them into stuff. I do everything organic. All my businesses, we make it feel personal. But, I have a motocross track that, I built out at my ranch about 2 hours from here. And I do the same thing. So there's this charity that I'm involved in, and I do a free, for me, I don't charge them anything, but all the money we collect on a charity weekend ride, we donate it to this charity, and they build basketball courts in, places like Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and they build these basketball courts with a roof over them. And that's how they get the locals and start talking to them about religion, their religion and all that, the Lord and all that. And it brings them in. And I just thought that was cool because I just thought that's pretty awesome. And so we took up that charity even at my motocross track.
Part of it's also, regardless of your beliefs, we'll call it karma, right? Mm-hmm. When you partner with people, when you say yes to people, when you're enthusiastic and you're operating authentically and well-intentioned and you're doing good works and you're doing all of this stuff with people and you're getting other people involved, it comes back to you full circle. Mm-hmm. And so, you're creating this universe for yourself and your business by all the actions that you take. So if you spend your time, being a degenerate on the weekends instead of out there in the community, your business will probably reflect it, right? Yeah. You can still be a degenerate, but just go hire somebody that's not, maybe.
That's right. That's what we do.
That's right.
We just never found anyone that could do the podcast for us.
That's right.
So still got two degenerates doing the podcast.
I love it. The truth will set you free.
Right. So, this is just fun. This is what I call winning and enjoying your business. I don't come to work stressed out at all. Hell, how could I? I wasn't stressed out when I came back to work after being away for over a month. In the 60-degree weather, 40-degree nights in the mountains for this whole summer. That was hard. I'll be honest with you. But you know what? I'm still having fun at work, so I like it. Yeah. And so I'm doing this show so that's what you want to do. Start creating your bucket list things. Don't make them big bucket lists. You can have the big ones, you can have the mediums and the small ones, but start accomplishing them. And
I think that's another thing that is, you've mentioned it twice now, but it's very underrated because I was never very good at it either. I just kind of was the opposite. I just worked until I had what I thought would be making enough money to do whatever I wanted to do. And I, postponed it.
That's called that's being in the engine, of the way our country's built, right? You work while you can afford to have fun. You work your tail off, and then when you're too old to enjoy it, you retire, right? And why not just kind of be retired, work good, work hard, work efficiently, and be kind of retired at the same time, no matter where you're at.
Micro goals. I think the concept of achieving these micro goals, because like I always had the macro goal. Let's build something for $1 billion and sell it, right? And have a windfall. I was always like, but when you're just chasing this massive goal and dream for years on end, it just kind of like you can lose steam pretty quickly. So I think the idea, and several of my partners have been very good at this. When I hit this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to be able to take this. Like those, and I think all the employees and team members should be having those micro goals, and you should know what those micro goals are and help them facilitate those things. But it is so, people they show up to work stressed. They go through the chaos. It's kind of they're just battling this battle, and it's always, you're always going to have struggles, challenges, right? But when you have a couple of wins and then you hit a couple of targets that are, more easily hit target. Like I want to take a 3-week vacation. I want to be able to do this. I want to go buy an RV, whatever that might be, whatever floats your boat, like, that renew and refreshes your soul. Do those things frequently. Otherwise, you can end up wanting to go into the nut house.
That's right. Great way to say it, and something we should all remember. You can't outrun success. You can just be successful by being smart and enjoy it along the way.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find a lot more satisfaction in your life. I mean, if you really look at how Jeff Bezos and all those guys work, I mean, he literally doesn't go to work till like 10. And he has that one really important meeting first thing at 10. And then the rest of the day, it's just gravy, but nothing important, because the important things got done while his brain was fresh.
Yeah.
And that's really how we need to do it. Just getting there at 6 o'clock in the morning and being the last one to leave in the afternoon or evening. I don't care what size your business is. Start building an efficient, simple business, and be proud of it and brand it and take care of your suppliers, and everything will work and it will grow and you will prosper and all these goals you have will come true. Just don't get caught in the trap of micromanaging, the trap of not allowing others to do what they're better at than you are. Recognize your weaknesses. The earlier you do that, the better. Don't hide from your weaknesses. I don't. My wife reminds me daily. Oh, did I just say that live in a public forum? Oh man, I'm in trouble now. All right, Tim, make sure Stacy doesn't see this.
I think that's their job. Seems to be their job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to us rant today. I like what we did today. I hope that it makes sense to you guys. If not, just how to find me, Billy at billygo.com, Billy at sarah.tech. Either way you want to reach out. Landon and I.
About the rambling though, there's a lot of gold nuggets in there and a lot of tangible information and takeaways. So maybe fast forward through the rambling and find the nuggets. But today was a lot of good information on the show today.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Mr. Brewer, any last words?
Well, I would be remiss to say, if you like the show, if you want to help continue to hear our voices, maybe see our faces, like, subscribe, go to all those channels that Billy that talked about, the iHeart, Apple, and
Spotify.
I think Billy said TikTok at one point too.
Oh yeah, we are on TikTok.
That's right.
And it's blowing up on there. It's pretty crazy.
TikTok's fun now.
Yeah, TikTok's.
That's where you can just let your hair down.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't even have TikTok, so I'm gonna have to get it so I can see how it's going. So
it's planting seeds, Billy. TikTok's planting
Careful
seeds.
on there. Careful on there.
Planting seeds.
Yeah.
Well, have a good day, sir. Thank you.
See you guys.
No BS with Billy and Landon is produced and delivered to you by Sarah Systems. At Sarah Systems, we've created a better way to run your home service business and unlock unprecedented growth. Our field service software was designed by real home service professionals to help you save steps, charge for previously unbillable time, and win more business. But the true change requires more than software. Our live coaching helps you understand and control the aspects of your business that matter most. It's about time for a new era of service, and we're leading the way. If you're ready to join the hundreds of other contractors who've been able to increase profit margins more than 50% within 6 months, visit sarah.tech today. That's Sarah, SERA.tech today.